Today is the day the Lord made. I was listening to that Max Lucado. If you never heard him, from Oak Hills Church in Texas. Look at that dude ripping a butt. Good for you. Living his best life. And I was listening to one of the. He's trying to be all slick about it too. Go ahead, rip that butt. Um, so listening to Max Lucado talking about today is the day the Lord made from the Bible. Interesting verse. Think about it. It's ponderous, man. But I wanted to discuss a couple of stories that came across. The feed. Everything's in a feed now. Oddly enough, whatever's in your feed, your brain is eating. And what is your brain eating? Isn't that weird? I wish George Carlin was here, because Carlin would write. Somebody's going to have to do it. Maybe I'll try to give it an attempt. When you think about that, right? Everything's in a feed. Your stream, your feed, the algorithm is feeding you things. Your brain is taking those things in. And what are you feeding your brain? Is it healthy? Is it good? That's interesting. Never really put that together. What's in your feed is feeding your brain. Is it good for you? What are you taking away from it? What are you pooping out? There's got to be a poop part of that analogy, that metaphor. Right? But across the feed today, what came into my brain, what I was feeding my brain, I want to see if I can show you guys this. I don't know if you can see that bumper sticker. It says, "A just world for all." I love bumper sticker knowledge. But I think the only way we get a just world for all is what these 80-year-old ladies were doing. Again, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I can't believe how busy it is. I tried to come to Trader Joe's because it's like noon on a Friday, and the parking lot's so full I had to park like far away. It's insane how prices have risen, and people, I guess most of us are forced to continually purchase food, but it's just nuts that like this many people are out shopping, because they might be at Burlington or TJ Maxx or whatever, but I can't believe, I hate it. Come on, consumers, we gotta slow down with this. I'm out because I need food. What are you doing? But the only way we get to that bumper sticker justice, a just world for all, is how? People got to take action. And these 80-year-old ladies, again, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and I leave the articles in the description. These 80-year-old ladies in the UK went to see the Magna Carta. I'm guessing that it's on display somewhere. In the article, it said there's only like 4 surviving Magna Cartas. I'm guessing one billionaire has it in his collection and breaks it out at dinner parties. There's probably like food stains on it, accoutrement. And one of the Magna Cartas that are on display, did they just duplicate it? Because they didn't have copy machines. I'm guessing they wrote it out a few times to send it across the land. I'm not well versed in the Magna Carta. I know that it's the Constitution of England, basically implemented laws that the king wasn't above the law. Like the king, even though he was a king, kind of set some kind of tone of democracy, not democracy, but some kind of tone of like, hey, we can't have an absolute monarchy. Kings can't just keep cutting people's heads off because they looked at them sideways. So that's the touchstone of the Magna Carta, right? They're like, the government ain't above the law, essentially. There's probably more to it. But these old ladies found wherever it was on display, and God bless them, these should be heroes. They should be on t-shirts and posters, because they broke in, I don't want to say broken, they went to see the Magna Carta, and they brought sledgehammers, little hammers and chisels, and tried to smash the Magna Carta out of its glass so they could destroy it. And then they glued their hands together with a sign that says like the government isn't the government needs to follow the law, and they were heard saying aloud, the government, is this government above the law? And it's all in connection to Just Stop Oil, the climate activists, which relates to the other story I want to talk about in a minute, the bribery going on here in America. But this Just Stop Oil campaign activism, whatever you want to call it, for the peopleism, um, is what these ladies were a part of, which is amazing. I want you to think about a couple things. If you were that age, right, in your 80s, and you had nothing, you knew, like, listen, you're not living to 2050. This world ain't for you no more. You've seen the dawn of the automobile. You know, you've lived your life. Most people at that age, they're either, eating oatmeal and yelling at the clouds about how the country's gone to heck or whatever. But these ladies are thinking about generations that they are the seeds, they're the planted seeds of a tree that they will never see the shade of. And it's incredible. And I wish more older people, instead of watching Fox News or thinking that, there's an invasion coming across the board, I wish more old people would think about their grandkids and what kind of planet they want for their grandkids and act like that. I mean, listen, don't take much to push you to a hopeless point, right? Especially in this economy. And think about, what will people do? These ladies are heroes. These two old 80-year-olds something, they went and tried to destroy the Magna Carta to make a political statement as a protest, because they believe their government is not above the law when it comes to the UK's solution to get off fossil fuels by 2050 or whatever. And instead of whatever else these old ladies do, sip tea and crumpets, they went out and tried to wreak havoc on the Magna Carta. God bless these little old ladies. I love them. I'd be so proud if they were my nana. So proud. And it's just so weird in this rugged individualism society that we've cultivated and continually harvest, to see two older ladies totally not care about their own well-being if they're going to get cuffed and stuffed. I know the cops are nicer in the UK, but still, they're going to... I don't think you could just start smashing the glass of the Magna Carta and just get away with it. They're going to have some troubles ahead. But still, what an amazing story. And I don't think the news will cover this, even though it's a fun story. They'd probably be a great interview. But this is the stuff the mainstream media kind of skirts to the side. CJ Dewey, what's up? I'll read that in a second. But these are the kind of stories that the mainstream media skirts to the side. They push under the carpet. They don't want people knowing about. And that's why I thought it very important to talk about. Because these two little old ladies went to try and destroy the Magna Carta, like a historic document that the UK or Great Britain, England worships. Imagine if two old little ladies in America went and tried to destroy the Declaration of Independence. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Attention getting, and a statement and a half. CJ, does that mean the ladies in their 80s are throwing some serious shade? They are. They are. They're throwing shade at the Queen's gone. They got a king, whatever. They're throwing it at the whole government. House of Commons, House of Lords, Parliament Funkadelic. Nah, George Clinton's cool. I can't believe how busy this fucking parking lot is. I really thought I was going to get away with a quick in and out trip. And there's like 5,000 people here. The other thing I wanted to bring to everybody's awareness, whatever's in your feed, remember what we were talking about at the beginning, hit subscribe and the notification bell. I go live every weekday. But it's so weird how that we call these news, we don't watch news channels, we call them news feeds, and our brain takes it in. So be careful of what you're consuming from your feed, whether it be news or info or memes or GIFs. Just be careful what you're consuming in your feed. But the other thing I seen that I read, also to do with the climate, is that Trump held a private dinner. It was put on by a billionaire oil executive, and it was all the big oil lobbies and ExxonMobil and all those companies. Anybody that's trying to suck dinosaur juice out of the ground, they were there. And again, I need to make this very clear. I am not red or blue. I am not left or right. We are from the bottom and we're coming for the top. I don't have any of those politics. I think team politics is the worst thing to happen to America. I think it forces people to fit into a box that they normally otherwise wouldn't, because there's so much gray in this so-called black and white arena of politics. But people, just like at the Super Bowl, I compare it to the Super Bowl. When the Super Bowl's on, people choose a team. You hear this all the time. Well, my team's out, so who am I going to root for? And this political system forces people to just do that, when that's not how politics should be. That's not how you can run a country efficiently. There's got to be more to it. Just as humans, I mean, we've evolved to do so many great things, right? I mean, you got TJ Maxx that can sell a rocker chair, a weather-resistant rocker chair, and popcorn in the same store. And we can't evolve to have more than 2 teams in politics? Give me a break. So now that I've said my piece on that, so nobody can come after me. I used to love people be like, oh, how's your girl Hillary? I was like, I hate her. What are you talking about? I can't stand. You think I like her? Get your head on straight. But now that I've said that, Trump went to this dinner. Whether or not you believe what they're reporting or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, the facts of it is he was at that dinner talking to oil executives. Now, what the reports are by 10 different people who wanted to stay anonymous, is that he was saying, you big oil lobbyists and oil execs need to put together $1 billion, $1 billion with a B, to get me back into the White House. He said, you do that, and all these permits you've been waiting 5 years on from the Biden administration, he said, I'll give you those permits day one. Now, that's what is alleged to have said. Now, again, whether or not you believe it, I don't care. I'm not addressing whether or not you believe what he said. Okay, I have my own thoughts on that. Of course, I think he's bribing everyone. Of course, that's how Trump operates. You give me money, and you'll get dividends. But I say, who cares? Okay, it's anonymous reports. I don't care what it's about. I don't care if it happened. What I care about are the facts. Facts where he was at this dinner. It had chopped steak. Again, link in the description. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. I go live every weekday. Trump was at this dinner. They had chopped steak. Again, like I said, this dinner did take place. These executives were there, and it was thrown by a billionaire oil baron. Okay? That should be concerning to everyone, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I'm highly aware of this. Oil companies are not our friends. Not at all. Companies in general are not your friend. They used to value you as you had purchasing power as a consumer or customer. They don't anymore. Now they value what Wall Street's expectations are, and that's the bottom line. They only care about their valuations, where their stocks go, whether they rise or fall, and their compensation packages. But my bigger point on this article, and you should read it for yourself, is that, and the Biden administration is probably just as guilty with so many of these things, but what I'm talking about is the news today. And I want you to remember this. Anytime anything political happens, or for any of these campaigns or this election year, big oil has one goal: to get as much oil out of the ground at any cost, pollute a river, destroy a natural formation, an ecological system. They will just ruin everything, pollute they don't care. The big oil's one goal is to maximize profits. That's it. That dinosaur juice they're sucking out of the ground, it's called a fossil fuel for a reason, because that shit's gonna go extinct. Okay, I always found it funny when people are like, we gotta keep the fossil fuel. I'm like, it's in the name. It's gonna go extinct. That fossil fuel isn't forever. There's a finite amount. That's why they're all chasing all ends of the earth to try and drill that stuff out. That dinosaur juice is gold to them, and they need to make all the money they can. And with that, they'll do it at any cost. That's why they want to skirt these regulations. That's why they do not want certain regulations in place. That's why they favor certain administrations. But what's more important about this is that you and I, whether you think you're red or blue, I don't care. I don't care what your affiliation is. I truly don't. CJ, hold on, let me read the comment. Do you remember when politicians met big oil in private? Well, this was a private dinner. That's the other craziest thing. I keep reading in these headlines and people saying, like, I remember when this used to be like a private deal. Now it's just wide out in the open, and it is, and it's reported on, and people are coming out of there saying, you're never going to believe what this dude said. And the complacency of the people is really what I'm trying to address. Is that's the pressing issue, that people we need to understand, again, I don't care who your allegiance is to. Hopefully it's not so much to a party or a person that you neglect your neighbors and your community and the environment and your kids and your nieces and nephews and your parents. That's all I ask for. That's where my allegiance lies. To the people that live next door to me, to my kids, to my grandkids, to my parents are dead, but to the people around me, to you. That's where my allegiance lies. And that's why I say, I don't care. Do not care. You're like, 4 more years, whatever you're chanting for. There's always that chant at some point. I don't care. What I want you to understand is the people these politicians get in bed with, they only care about profits. They're not here to make sure that when you go away for a long weekend, that the woods look pristine, that you have a beach to go to without trash, cigarette butts, oil spillage looking, glimmering water coming at you, or that when you leave the water you get a rash, or the fish you're eating. I just talked about the story where RFK Jr., another presidential candidate, said he got mercury poisoning because he ate tuna every day. I mean, this is the ish that we're talking about. These people do not care what the after effects are. They care about their profits and meeting Wall Street's expectations. My phone overheated. Talking about climate change was too hot for it. And again, I know it's like a touchy subject on YouTube, so I had to get the air conditioner on. One day, I'll be doing this from a better phone. One day. So hopefully this is still live. I can't tell because again my phone went into emergency mode. Ah yes, it's getting so hot out even phones can't live stream. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that hopefully your affiliation isn't so butthole puckering watertight to a political party that you ignore the people around you, the beauty around you. Because again, any politicians that's having dinner with billionaires promising like, I'll get you any kind of paperwork, any kind of things you need on day one, it's not for our benefit. It is not for the benefit of the people. And I hope this wakes some people up. I really do. I don't know if anybody's still in this live. You could jump in the chat, just say something. Oh yes, CJ, you're in here. Alright, thank you. I love you, CJ. You're so amazing, always coming up in the chat. In the Pacific Northwest, they have a report that tells you about all the heavy metals in the fish they test from the lakes around Seattle. Spoiler alert, the most expensive houses on the lakes can't eat fish. It's amazing that, of course, I want to move to Seattle so bad. I want to move to the Pacific Northwest so bad. I'm trying to get a job out there. I lost out on one of them. I want to go there so bad. But it's as depressing as that is, it's amazing that they're at least doing that. And how do you like them apples? You buy the most expensive house on the lake, but don't eat them fish. You lose the house and your life. That's wild. CJ's always got the good info. Man, I'll tell you what, I love people from the Pacific Northwest. CJ, I don't know if you ever watched Portlandia, the Fred Armisen, Carrie Brownstein show. I love that. I'm rewatching it again to try and keep my mind off of some of the negative thoughts that keep passing through. Remember, thoughts are just things you can feel and let go. But if you haven't seen Portlandia, CJ, watch it. It's a brilliant show. Brilliant. Hilarious. Best satirical show ever. Alright, I gotta wrap this up so my phone... Do it, move here. I'd love to. Help me get a job. Please. Please help me get a job. I'd do anything to move to Seattle. We'll stay in touch if I do, though, so you can help me out and point me in the right direction to neighborhoods and stuff. I don't want my phone to overheat again, so I have to go. I'm very nervous that it's going to go back into emergency mode. So thank you so much for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button too. That helps, I think, in the algorithm. Who knows anymore? YouTube's changing everything all the time, but I'm doing this every day, these lives, and then I just released a new reaction, first time watch Met Gala. That's on my channel. So if you love Portland, not a hellscape, Good to know. We got to talk more. So before my phone overheats, subscribe, notification bell, live every weekday. Watch the new reaction video I just released on my channel. Thank